The lecture hall at Ashcroft University pulsed with quiet confidence as students filled every seat, waiting for the legendary Professor Edwin Carlisle to begin his advanced mathematics seminar. His reputation reached far beyond campus. Brilliant, demanding, and painfully arrogant, Carlisle enjoyed proving that genius belonged only to a chosen few. Every semester, someone became the target of his sharp wit. That morning, fate had chosen an unexpected victim. Outside the classroom, 62-year-old Martha Johnson pushed her cleaning cart along the polished hallway. She had worked at the university for nearly 20 years, arriving before sunrise and leaving long after sunset. Most students smiled politely. Most professors barely noticed her. Wearing faded blue gloves and a simple gray uniform, she quietly collected trash while humming an old gospel tune. As Carlisle entered the lecture hall, he spotted Martha wiping fingerprints from the glass beside the doorway. A mischievous grin spread across his face. Turning toward his students, he announced, "Today we'll demonstrate the difference between ordinary people and mathematical minds." The room erupted with nervous laughter. "Mom," he called loudly, "would you mind stepping inside for a moment?" Martha looked around, unsure he meant her. "Yes, you," Carlisle insisted. "Please." She parked her cart and entered with a gentle smile. "What can I do for you, Professor?" Carlisle pointed toward the enormous equation covering the board. Symbols stretched from one side to the other, combining advanced calculus, linear algebra, and differential equations into a puzzle that had consumed the class for nearly 40 minutes. "My students have been struggling," he said. "Perhaps you'd like to solve it." The laughter grew louder. Several students exchanged embarrassed glances. Martha studied the room before answering softly, "I'm only here to clean." "Exactly," Carlisle replied. "Whom are us?" Silence settled across the hall. Martha looked at the equation for only a few seconds. "May I use the chalk?" The professor handed it over with an amused smile. She approached the board without hesitation. Instead of writing immediately, she erased 2 symbols. A murmur swept across the classroom. "Those terms shouldn't both exist," she whispered. Carlisle's smile faded. She continued writing carefully, transforming the equation step by step with calm precision. Every movement appeared deliberate. Students leaned forward. One began recording on a phone before another quietly lowered it, sensing something extraordinary unfolding. Within 3 minutes, Martha placed the chalk on the ledge. There. The room became perfectly still. Carlisle stared at the solution. His eyes narrowed, then widened. He checked every line again and again. The answer was flawless. Even worse for his pride, her simplified proof was shorter and more elegant than the one hidden inside his lecture notes. "Impossible," he muttered. Martha simply nodded. "I hope I didn't make a mess." A few students laughed, though this time the laughter carried admiration instead of ridicule. Carlisle folded his arms. "Where did you learn mathematics?" "My husband enjoyed puzzles." "That isn't an answer." She hesitated. "I studied years ago." "Studied where?" Before she could respond, a frantic scream echoed through the hallway. Someone burst through the classroom doors. The chemistry building exploded. Every student jumped to their feet. Smoke drifted past the windows. Emergency alarms roared across campus. Carlisle rushed outside with the class, joining hundreds of terrified students flooding toward the courtyard. Flames climbed from the neighboring research laboratory. Broken glass rained onto the pavement while injured people staggered through clouds of gray smoke. Then came another explosion. The ground shook violently. A section of the building collapsed. Panicked voices filled the air. "Professor Langley is still inside." "My sister's trapped." "Call the fire department." Everyone froze, unsure what to do. Everyone except Martha. She dropped her gloves. "There's no time." Without waiting for permission, she sprinted toward the burning entrance. "Stop," Carlisle shouted, but she never slowed. Students watched in disbelief as the quiet cleaning lady disappeared into the smoke with nothing except determination. Minutes crawled by. Sirens grew louder. The crowd feared the worst. Then a figure emerged from the smoke. It was Martha. Supporting an unconscious graduate student across her shoulders, she carried him beyond the collapsing entrance just as another wall crashed behind them. Cheers erupted. She gently laid the student on the grass, checked his breathing, then looked back toward the burning building. "Professor Langley is alive," she said between steady breaths, "but he's pinned beneath a steel beam. If nobody reaches him before the next collapse, he'll die." The arriving firefighters exchanged worried glances. Their commander frowned. "How do you know the structure inside?" Martha met his eyes with surprising calm. "Because I recognized the emergency exits before I entered." The commander looked confused. "You memorized the building?" "No." She inhaled deeply. "I helped design its evacuation model years ago." Carlisle stared at her, unable to speak. Nothing about the woman standing before him matched the quiet janitor everyone thought they knew. And as another explosion thundered through the shattered laboratory, he realized the greatest equation he had failed to solve was never written on the blackboard at all. It was the extraordinary life hidden behind the woman he had mocked only minutes earlier. The firefighters prepared to enter, but Martha stepped toward the commander with unwavering confidence. The central corridor is gone, she warned. If you use the main staircase, you'll be trapped within seconds. Follow the maintenance tunnel beneath the west laboratory. It connects to the structural support chamber. That's the only safe path left. The commander studied her face. How can you be so certain? Because I designed that escape route after an inspection exposed weaknesses in the original plans. Carlisle felt the blood drain from his face. You designed this building, he whispered. Martha ignored him. Every second mattered. The commander made a decision. War following her instructions. 2 rescue teams disappeared into the smoke while Martha quickly organized frightened students into small groups. Ring blankets. Keep everyone away from the east wall. Anyone with first aid training, come with me. Without hesitation, dozens obeyed. Even Professor Carlisle found himself waiting for her next command. Several agonizing minutes passed. Then voices echoed from inside. We found him. A cheer swept across the campus as firefighters emerged carrying Professor Langley on a stretcher. He was injured but alive. The commander walked straight to Martha. If we'd entered through the front like we planned, we'd have lost people today. He removed his helmet and nodded respectfully. You saved my team. You students erupted into applause. Carlisle remained frozen. The woman he had humiliated before his class had just saved lives that trained professionals might have lost trying to reach. As paramedics treated the injured, university officials rushed onto campus. Among them was Chancellor Rebecca Hughes. She stopped the moment she saw Martha. Martha? Martha smiled faintly. It's been a long time. The Chancellor embraced her tightly. Students exchanged puzzled looks. Carlisle stared in disbelief. You know each other. Rebecca turned toward the gathering crowd. Know her. 28 years ago. Martha Johnson was one of the youngest mathematical engineers in the country. Her research transformed structural safety models used in universities, hospitals, and emergency facilities. The silence became overwhelming. Carlisle blinked repeatedly. Doctor. Rebecca continued. She also taught advanced mathematics here before leaving academia. Every student looked from the Chancellor to the cleaning uniform Martha still wore. Carlisle finally found his voice. Why would someone with your achievements become a cleaner? Martha looked toward the damaged building. My husband became seriously ill. Medical bills consumed everything we owned. After he passed away, I didn't want titles anymore. This job paid enough to survive, and it let me stay close to the place where we spent our happiest years. Nobody spoke. I discovered something interesting. She added softly. People greet professors, they overlook cleaners. When people believe you're invisible, they reveal who they truly are. The Carlisle lowered his head. I suppose today I revealed exactly who I am? Martha looked at him kindly. No. Today you revealed who you were. What matters is who you choose to become. Those words struck harder than any public humiliation. Weeks later, the university auditorium overflowed with students, faculty, alumni, and reporters. The damaged laboratory was already being rebuilt using Martha's updated safety recommendations. Chancellor Hughes stepped to the podium. Today we recognize extraordinary courage, remarkable humility, and a lifetime of unnoticed excellence. She invited Martha onto the stage. The audience rose in a standing ovation that seemed endless. Professor Carlisle approached carrying a small wooden box. Inside rested the university's highest academic medal. He swallowed before speaking. The greatest mistake of my career wasn't solving a difficult equation incorrectly. It was believing intelligence could be measured by appearance, clothing, or occupation. His voice trembled. I publicly embarrassed a woman whose brilliance exceeds my own. He pinned the medal onto Martha's uniform. I cannot erase my actions, but I can acknowledge them before everyone. Martha smiled warmly. The most beautiful proof in mathematics is one that transforms confusion into understanding. Carlisle nodded through tearful eyes. And the most beautiful lesson in life is learning before it's too late. Months later, students entering Ashcroft University noticed something different. Beside the mathematics department stood a bronze statue. It did not portray a famous professor. It showed a woman holding a cleaning cart in one hand and a piece of chalk in the other. The inscription beneath it read, "Greatness often arrives wearing ordinary clothes." New students asked about the statue every year. Older students proudly told the story of the day a quiet cleaning lady solved the impossible equation in 3 minutes, then saved lives when everyone else stood frozen. Many left inspired not only to study harder, but to treat every person with dignity. Because genius can be hidden behind a uniform, wisdom can speak with a gentle voice, and heroes rarely announce themselves before changing the world. If this story reminded you never to judge someone by their appearance, and to recognize the extraordinary potential within ordinary people, subscribe for more unforgettable stories where courage, humility, and hidden greatness triumph when the world least expects it.